don't hesitate if you think that you're ready and you kind of have everything ready to go, but you're just waiting because it's an issue of believing in yourself and having confidence. Know that you are not alone and just rip the Band-Aid off, I think is the best advice I could give to people.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Commerce Coffee and Community Podcast Entrepreneurs Edition. Today I'm joined by Mackenzie Kerr of Mackenzie Kerr Consulting. How's it going today, Mackenzie?
It's good. How are you?
Good. Why don't you just start off today by telling us a bit about your background, Mackenzie, where you grew up and what made you decide to settle a business here in Prince George?
Sure. I grew up in Prince George most of my life. A fun fact that I tell at parties is that I actually grew up in the Yukon until I was 9. So
okay.
I haven't been here my whole life, but more of my life than
the majority.
more than half. So yeah. So I've been here in Prince George. And I went to high school, college, and university. I studied forestry, not marketing, which is what I'm doing now. But I find fun intersections of forestry and marketing, and it's kind of the best of both worlds. So that's something that we can talk about more later. But
absolutely.
Yeah, I decided to set up my business in Prince George, mainly because I want to live in Prince George. I love it here. I actually just bought a house with my partner a couple months ago.
Congratulations.
Right downtown.
That's a big step.
It was a big step. Yeah. So we're stuck here because now we have a mortgage. So we're not going anywhere. But
Fair
yeah,
enough.
Prince George is an amazing community for entrepreneurs and for young people who are interested in kind of growing their roots in Prince George and settling here.
Right.
There's lots to offer. And obviously I'm a huge proponent of Prince George because I also ran for office wanting to represent Prince George. So that's kind of also part of my background. Learning how to market myself, which is much more difficult than other businesses. But
True.
Yeah, all of that kind of came together, forestry and running for office, and then marketing became an option. And I have loved it ever since. I've only been doing it full time now for a year. I just passed my 1 year
Very cool. Congratulations.
business anniversary. Thank you. So yeah, it's been a very fast learning curve, very fast growth, and I'm very excited to get into it today.
That's awesome. So you've had this really cool path of kind of, going to school. You were, in a program that is not necessarily reflective of what you're in today.
Mm-hmm.
Now, speaking of that change, what kind of motivated you to start your business? And what would you say your mission is behind Mackenzie Kerr Consulting?
So what helped me start my business, we'll start with that, or what kind of got me into it. I was learning a lot about reaching the public. So whatever that may be, I was learning a lot of that in forestry when you create forest policy and learning how important public engagement and consultation is. And that was part of my classes. And then I learned a lot of that when I was running for office. And that was my favorite part.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, the debates or the intense policy stuff. It was getting to talk to people and try to educate people about what I was passionate about in a way that they understood it, in a way that resonated with them, and that had, we found a connection, right? Finding something in common and educating them and teaching them about this thing that I'm really passionate about, whatever it may be. And so that's kind of how it led me into starting a marketing agency. I wanted to help other business owners be able to share their message and their values with their customers in a way that was fun and engaging and stress-free, because social media is so stressful for so many people. And I love it. So I wanted to help business owners that know how important it is, but that just don't have time or don't have the energy after a full day of running their own business to film a bunch of TikToks or Reels. So I am helping business owners kind of reach their audience in a fun, engaging, really meaningful way, in the most stress-free way possible, hopefully doing it all for them so that they don't need to even worry about it.
That's awesome. So, really being able to help those businesses bring their messages to new and engaging platforms. One thing I've seen, over the last year or two following you on TikTok is just seeing the fun and, trendy ways you're able to bring information, and especially through your campaign, it was kind of just really innovative, right?
Yeah.
So being able to being able to give businesses that opportunity is really wonderful and totally a worthwhile mission.
Thanks.
Now, yeah, so you've got your business on the go, and obviously you know, a bit of a digital agency, lots of different types of content that you do. What would be your favorite piece of social media content to help businesses on?
When business owners give me free reign to come up with super fun ideas for their content, whatever that may be. Maybe that's not videos. Maybe they don't want to be in the video, and we can work with that as well. I have a whole bunch of clients that we can come up with super fun ways to make TikToks and Reels. Video content is amazing, and we all know that it does the best right now on social media.
Definitely.
So if business owners can take the leap and find creative ways to shoot videos and post them on social media, that's my favorite, especially the ones where the client says, you know what, just give me the script and I'll do it. You have free reign to come up with creative control. Then I can really find super fun video ideas that fit them, their personality, and their business, and really help show their customers what they're all about in a way that isn't just a boring scripted video, you know?
Right, right. And in that sort of process where you're helping them develop videos and video ideas, is there ever like some coaching necessary to where you're maybe they're not fully like bought into the idea of video content, or they're just a bit nervous? Like how do you handle business owners that might have some complication there?
Yeah, it's not everyone is an expert. That's for sure. That's why they hire me
There you
to
go.
make it as easy as possible for them. Video is still very nerve-wracking for a lot of people. It's difficult to do. Like it's just a long process, right? I mean, if you watch me make my own TikToks, it's embarrassing. I take like 10 takes of every video. Like even though some of us look like we're very good at it, we're probably doing 10 takes, right? So it's social media is not as it seems, right?
Yeah.
People can clip different videos together. They can film it a million times. So yeah, just kind of helping business owners that maybe struggle a little bit with that sort of stuff. Yeah. We come up with creative ways to make it easier. So maybe, you know, their face isn't in every video because maybe that's the part that they get nervous. Yeah, and so we find creative ways to like put their product or service in the video without them being in it, right? Maybe they don't want to dance or lip sync. So we make it all educational talking videos because they know their product really well and they want to show how they make it or how they provide their service, but they don't want to dance or whatever it may be, right? So, yeah.
I think you just gave a lot of relief to business owners who might be listening that are wanting to get into this area, but we're afraid of the dance videos or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
I have never danced on TikTok. You do not have to do it to succeed on TikTok. Yeah.
That's great news for some. Absolutely. Yeah. Now, I've got to ask you, what is your favorite place here in town to grab a bite? It can be casual. It's just across the board, dessert, whatever you like. I guess maybe like your favorite food and then like your favorite place.
Sure. We spend a lot of time downtown. Obviously, we chose to buy a house downtown because we spend so much time downtown. Probably, I have two. The Makery.
Okay.
Like the environment, the fact that I can do crafts, I can work, I can grab the most delicious coffee ever and treats. And then also Ivy's Family Kitchen. They just opened recently, and it's the best Vietnamese food ever.
I've not got a chance to check
my gosh.
out, but I'm ready.
The salad rolls, I could literally eat them every single day. They're amazing.
That's awesome. So there you go. Shout out to Makery and Ivy's Kitchen.
Yeah.
So with that, now that people have the chance to pause this, go grab a bite from there and come back.
Yeah.
Take us back to the start of your entrepreneurial journey. And what were some of the first steps that you took to prepare your business concept?
Sure. So I did a lot of preparation. I actually was very worried to start. Like I was really hesitant and I didn't think that I knew enough. So I had a lot of imposter syndrome. I still do around, whether or not I feel like I know enough to be an expert in this field and actually, sell it as a service and support people, which I know a lot of us struggle with. Especially young people, especially women. So it's something that I was holding back for a while, but I did do a lot of training to get to the point so that I felt comfortable to launch a business. I did training with Hubspace locally. I did a business course through Stillwater Consulting. They're like a consulting agency to help young business owners. It was a grant through the government, so that was really awesome. I also took Alacrity Digital Marketing Boot Camp, which is an online boot camp. And they actually, after the boot camp was done, they actually hired me to be a teacher on that boot camp, specifically for TikTok, because they're like, we need a newer, updated video for TikTok.
Right.
We would love your support. So I was like, this is
That's
crazy. I just
awesome,
did your course, and now, the imposter syndrome. It was a lot. But so I did all of those kind of programs and courses to get ready. And then I had some people help me with a website. I had some local mentors kind of support me through, what do I need to launch a business? When do I know I'm ready to like officially launch? Air quotes, if you're listening. So it was a long kind of process of feeling confident enough to do it. Right. And I thought I needed to have like every social media post ready for my own business before I launched and all that sort of stuff. I needed great headshots and a logo and business cards. And realistically, really, you don't need half of that to get started. You just start and you'll like learn as you go, right? You may think that everything's perfect, and then you may be 3 weeks in to launching your business and realizing that your onboarding process is not as smooth as it could be. Yeah. So like you kind of have to start to work out the kinks. You're not going to work out all the kinks until you begin, and then get advice from your clients, from your mentors, like, test some things and see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah. Feedback is such a critical part of being an entrepreneur, right? And being receptive to that feedback sort of as you start out. But it really sounds like you had a great start to kind of combat some of those internal feelings, right? The self-doubt that goes into being an entrepreneur is almost a constant, right? So that's really wonderful to hear. And you mentioned mentorship a little bit in the start of your entrepreneurial journey. What role and how important have mentorship been in playing a role to your entrepreneurial journey?
There's too many people specifically to list because I've had so much support. I was thinking about this question before the podcast, but how it has impacted me is like, I can't even describe it. I don't think that I would be anywhere close to where I am a year ago without all of the mentorship and support that I've gotten from the community. And that's like current clients or mentors or people who are just in my life as a friend. Yeah. It's been, monumental to get so much support, and just from people who, maybe they don't have the budget to purchase my services, but they've been huge cheerleaders online, and just like the support in every avenue has been amazing. But mentorship on, the details that I wasn't an expert at before I started my business, accounting, bookkeeping, the books. Thankfully my girlfriend is an accountant, so I get a second pair of eyes on all my accounting, which is amazing. It's just been amazing. And current clients have been great to work with because they'll give business advice. A lot of the time they're business owners that have been, business owners in town for a really long time. So it's amazing to hear their feedback, and they're, giving me referrals, and it's just amazing to be in such like a close-knit, supportive community, because you can run into people that and you're kind of always 1 or 2 separation degrees away from someone that you do know. So
No, absolutely. It's so critical that people and a lot of people don't know that there are mentors out there. And like you said, literally right there, a couple degrees of separation away. It could be family, it could be friends, even if you're bouncing your ideas for your own company off of them. It's a great way to sort of remove yourself from the stress of trying to do that with a client first, and getting some feedback from your inner circle.
And even if they're not like an official mentor, you're still getting mentorship from them, right? You don't have to be stressed about like, oh, I need to find a mentor. Well, it's probably the friend that you talk to all the time. You probably already have a few of them, right? But just be that word can be kind of like stressful for young entrepreneurs. They're like, I don't have an official mentor. It's like, you probably do.
It doesn't have to be like a 25-year business vet in a suit. It could be someone on a forum, even, like someone in the community group, right? So definitely you can find mentorship in so many unexpected places. Okay, so you've got a lot of mentorship, which is fantastic. But every entrepreneur seems to kind of have one big influence backing them through their journey. And who would that be for you, do you think?
There's people in different positions in my life. Like some people give me support in other ways than just one. I think like business wise, probably Chris
Okay,
King.
yeah.
He's now one of my like subcontractors that works with me and for me for my clients because I've had to grow and bring on more people, which has been amazing. So Chris has probably helped me like from day one the most when it comes to business stuff. Of course, I've had like lots of support from partners and friends and that sort
Yeah.
of stuff, but business related, I think Chris has kind of always been there, and now we're working together, so it's super fun because,
That's so cool.
yeah, no, he's amazing. So he worked at Hubspace earlier, and then I was doing some of my coaching through him, and now he's
Okay.
doing his own thing, started his own entrepreneurial journey, and we get to work together. So
Super cool that you were able to keep that connection.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
yeah.
Now, every entrepreneurial journey has the good and the bad.
Yep.
Why don't we start off with the bad? We'll get
Sure.
that out of the way real quick.
Okay, sure.
What has been the hardest part of this whole process for you so far?
The hardest part is probably finding a balance. I know that probably everyone says that, but I think it's the most common hurdle for business owners is like when you're an entrepreneur, how do you find time for work-life balance when, you know, you might not have coworkers, you're just like always at home working and, you know, so that probably is just like finding time for myself, not overdoing it, knowing when to say no, is part of that balance. Sometimes I'll, you know, I'm like almost fully booked up right now. Like I have a hard time saying I'm fully booked up because I am, but it's weird to say that. So I'm like, well, I think I am actually, right? And so like finding my boundary of what's enough for me is probably one of the biggest things, because I want to keep saying yes, but it's like, at what point do you burn yourself out? You don't want to kind of grow too quickly without onboarding more subcontractors or coworkers or staff even, so that you don't kind of peter out. You want to make sure that it's a sustainable growth pattern. So yeah, just I've been doing some coaching still with Hubspace with Mary and like making sure that I'm growing sustainably and not burning myself out. So finding that balance is probably the hardest thing. And when you're an entrepreneur, it's very hard to say no to clients because you kind of want to work with everyone.
Especially at the start, right?
At the start, you're like, I don't know if I can afford to say no right now, right? And so it's a lot of balance between like, you know, morals and values and who do you want to work with? What is your ideal client? And then, if I say no to this one, maybe it's going to leave room for another client that maybe lines up better with me in the future. But how do I know that that's coming, right? I don't know what next month's going to look like. And so it's very nice to now, like only a year into business, be comfortable knowing that I'm, you know, not having to say yes to everything. Like I'm safe enough to be able to pick and choose wisely and like work with my favorite people. And yeah, no, it's just, it's good to find your balance and like find how much you can take on and know how much you can take on. And like, at what point do I need to expand my business, right?
Yeah. And it really is the best outcome for everybody, right? The clients that you work with get the best version of Mackenzie possible, and Mackenzie gets to go home and sleep at a reasonable hour. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to spread yourself too thin, right? So it's very easy to take on lots of clients at the beginning, but you have to be able to find a balance so that you can, be awake the next day.
Absolutely. So you don't sleep through them.
Yeah.
How about the good? How about the best part so far? This is the exciting part.
Yeah, this part's super exciting. There's so many best parts. Like it's hard to even like think of just one. Today I had a comment from someone on one of my clients' TikTok accounts that said like, whoever is running this marketing is doing a great job. And I was like, oh yes, that's the best feeling ever. I was like, you don't know who it is, but you just made my week. Like that's the best thing ever. Yeah. And then just seeing like your clients extremely happy with the work that you're doing. So not just the public, but also the clients are like, wow, you made my life so much easier by doing this for me. Or, you know, I also provide coaching and auditing. So if someone doesn't want me to run their account for them or can't afford it, or they're not at the point in their business where they need that yet, I also do coaching. So I'll do kind of an audit of their social media accounts and give them advice and recommendations on what they can do to make it better and reach more people. And, you know, maybe a more specific hashtag list. That's a very small part of the puzzle, but every little piece of the puzzle, needs to be tweaked to reach your ideal customer and match your business goals. So I do that as well. And to see it work after, to see your clients like follow your advice and have it actually work feels so good. It's so validating that it's like, wow, I do know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's a really good business model to make your services so much more accessible to everybody, right?
Yeah.
Because you're right in a sense that like some entrepreneurs are still in those little growth stages where they can't hire a company to take it over, but they're willing to take a lesson and learn and grow their own skill set. So that's commend you on that. That's really nice.
Thank you. Yeah, teaching people to do it themselves is great. I love that because then they can make their own videos. They can post it when they have time.
Right.
They're very personable. It's kind of like off the cuff, and often that's the content that often does the best, right? Yeah. So it's like I want them to get to the point where they can do it by themselves and they know how to do it. And so it's amazing to see that actually work and have the clients just feel so fulfilled and have their books fill up and all their products sell out, and it's the best feeling ever to know that you helped be part of that.
Absolutely. Business always is it's all good in hindsight, right? So I gotta ask you, through all these good and bads, what was the one piece of advice at the very start that you wish you had to kind of begin your entrepreneurial journey?
It's very specific to my industry, to marketing and that sort of stuff, content creation. But buy more storage for your phone because you're going to run out very quickly when you're filming for other people. No, but deeper advice, I think, is just start. Like, don't hesitate and wait. You know what? You're going to think that you're not ready and you want everything to be perfect. But just start so that you can put your services out there and you can kind of test and see what works. You may build a whole website and you haven't even figured out if that's exactly what people want. Yeah. I actually started my business wanting to offer TikTok coaching specifically and like helping people run their TikTok accounts. Right. There's very few people that were ready to do just TikTok or focus all their energy on it. They wanted a broader social media, audit for all of their accounts, or companies that wanted me to do it for them. They wanted TikTok to be a part of that, but not just TikTok. And so I had to adjust. I had that up on my website thinking, oh, this will be super awesome. I'm the only one that's focusing in on TikTok, but then there wasn't the demand. So you really have to kind of tweak things. And now it's part of my packages, but it's not a standalone because there just isn't the desire for people to only focus on that like there is in bigger cities. So just kind of testing things and not holding yourself back when you know you're ready. Like when people are telling you that you're ready, stop making up excuses that you're like, no, my website isn't quite done, or I don't have all my graphics done, my logo, my business cards aren't here. You know what? You're not going to be handing out 300 business cards in the first week either. Trust me. I wish that was true, but unless you're going to a fair or something, right? Just start, and people will be there to back you, especially in this town. People are really supportive of new business owners. Yeah,
I really like that point on having the using that time to really define your service to demand sort of area, because so many people will go in and customize all their assets and spend all that money to market for one thing specifically, and it turns out that the other 90% of the business is going unmarketed, right?
Yeah, definitely. So I had a hard time keeping up with my own marketing over the first 6 months. I was like, I'm literally, this is my full-time job now, is helping people make content. And I'm having a very hard time keeping up with my own schedule at just a few posts a week because I was creating so much content for my clients. And so you have to remember that you need to treat yourself as a client when it comes to my sort of business, right? Treat yourself as a client. Give yourself enough time that you can also make your own posts. You can also work on your own marketing, your accounting, your books, your bookkeeping. Put that into your daily schedule so that it's not an afterthought and it's just part of your routine, which I'm saying these things out loud and I'm still barely doing it. But that's what if I say it out loud, then maybe I will start to practice it more. But that would be my advice, is just treat yourself as a client so that you can get that stuff done. because often it comes last and it's the stuff that's done at midnight on a Tuesday because you forgot that your GST is due the next day, which mine is due in 2 days. So yeah, learning all of that stuff and just kind of keeping up with it, I think is a really big learning curve. And I'm very grateful that I've had so many mentors and people to help me stay on track and make sure that I'm not burning out and that this is a sustainable long-term business for me because I love it and I want it to be. So
it's funny how it all goes sort of back to scheduling, right?
Yeah.
And back to the balance that is so essential to entrepreneurship. Absolutely. In your experience, this is, we're moving on a bit to the advice section of the show for our listeners here. In your experience, what is one common misconception that businesses have about their social media? Whether that be the clients that you've taken on or just something that you've noticed from the businesses around you?
There's a few. I think the first one is the businesses like often don't put social media first. It's kind of an afterthought. They're like, okay, I'm going to get to that after. They're so focused, which totally fair. They're so focused on making their product or providing their service that the marketing of that kind of comes after. And you're not a marketer. I get it. You want to, do whatever your service is, hairdressing, candle making, whatever it may be. That's what you're an expert in, right? So it's very hard to do something that is difficult when you're not an expert at it. But I think the misconception is that, businesses don't give it the importance that it has, right? They kind of think, well, that'll be nice to do, but I don't think that it's going to have that much of a significance on my business if I'm, if I'm only posting once a month. I don't think there's going to be that much of a difference. And there is. There's a huge difference. Yeah. So I think that's one. The other one is very specific to content creation, a misconception that you can create shorter videos than you think. People are, worried about packing all the information into a video when they post online. And it's like, actually, that's 4 videos right there. Like, cut up that 90-second video into 4 different videos because people's attention spans, as we know, are very short. Yeah. So don't do more work than you need to be doing. Cut up that one video that you shot. You don't need to be changing your shirt in every video clip. People know that we batch create content now. Yeah. That's what people do. So yeah, I think those are a few misconceptions that are slowing people down because they're trying to make so many videos when they don't need to be. Yeah. They could just be repurposing and restyling and cutting up the same video multiple different ways.
No, that's a really great point. Just in terms of, I go back to when I was running my business, just trying to find that time to do social media. I really could have used some Mackenzie Kerr consulting. Just saying. Now, we talked a bit about mentorship before as well, and a little bit more about sort of what mentors do and what mentors do for you in terms of playing a role for your business development. But do you have any advice for a first-time entrepreneur who's kind of looking to identify that mentorship and maybe seek it out as well?
One of the biggest places that I have found community, and with that comes mentorship, is the Leap Women for Business program that's run out of Community Futures, I believe. Okay. Out of Community Futures. And Leap Business for Women is like its own sort of program. Right. And they have luncheons once a month, Zoom and in person. And so you get to connect with other women entrepreneurs, which has been awesome. So that's one place that you can go. Another place you can go is funny, but you can just go online. Like there's a lot of local people, not even, strangers across the internet, but local people that are posting mentorship online. Right. And you can search that by looking at local hashtags, right? You can search online. Google's not going to pop these things up. You have to search on the social media platforms, and then you'll find other women. It doesn't need to be someone in the same industry as you to be a mentor. So find a business owner that you see on social media, if social media is something that you want to improve on, and you see, wow, they're doing a really good job. I'd love to chat with them. Right. Or, someone who is talking about doing a lot of educating, right? So if a business owner is doing a lot of educating about how they started their business, you know that they're interested in mentorship, right? Because they want to share it with people. So they might, want to have coffee with you. There's another program called WeBC, Women Entrepreneurship BC, and it's a provincial program. Shauna Harper was from Prince George, and now she moved down and she's the head of it. And they are doing an upcoming event soon, I believe. She's coming back up to PG for it. But there's a lot of women mentors in Prince George that have been matched up with mentees through the WeBC program. So if you sign up for WeBC emails, you'll probably, have the opportunity to go to events and be paired up with someone. Right. So there's lots of different opportunities to look for mentorship. You just kind of have to follow 1 or 2 pages and then they'll all start popping up on your feed. But yeah, I find to just asking for mentorship, it can just become a friendship, right? It doesn't need to be so explicit, like we said before, where you have like a contract. It can be a friendship with someone, and make sure that you're, it's a mutualistic relationship, and what you're getting, you're also giving, and you're supporting their business as well. That's how I have the best relationships. Is they're like natural, organic relationships. It doesn't feel forced. And yeah, those are kind of the best mentors that I have.
I'm so glad you shouted out some like actual provincial and regional resources, because people, I think a lot of the time will think that they have to get a mentor from within their own circle, or it has to be their dad's friend's uncle who runs the business down the street, right? Like if you don't know anybody, there's still plenty of opportunities to find mentorship here in Prince George. So we also talked a bit about not waiting to start your business, not making sure things are perfect and flush to get things off the ground. Now, this is especially a tough topic for young entrepreneurs who are feeling, self-doubt, whether that's coming out of school with maybe unrelated experience or coming out of school not having worked a job before. There's a lot of different opportunity or situations where they feel a lot of hesitancy in trying to start a business. So how did you overcome that initial hesitancy and sort of rip the Band-Aid off, so to speak, on starting your business?
Yeah. It was difficult. I was very hesitant. I was very scared, anxious. I was worried that, I wouldn't get any clients. And this was like, I didn't transition from having like a 9 to 5 and then doing this on the side. I jumped right into it because short-time contracts had ended. Yeah. So it was like natural for me to just do it by itself. So I didn't have anything else so I was very nervous to jump right into it, right? Yeah. And I had a degree in forestry. If everything failed, I could go work in the bush, but I'm too much of an extrovert. So I had to rip the Band-Aid off. And I think I was supported through that, through my friends and family, because I would show them my website before it was online, and I would show them what I had planned and some of my packages. And I talked through every single detail of my packages. And I was like, would this be something you would buy? Quizzing my friends and family on pieces of the puzzle to see their reaction, or, do like a fake coaching call with a friend to see what I need to include and just kind of practicing. Yeah. So I did a little bit of that. And that was really helpful because it helped me narrow down what I wanted to talk about. I had a lot of ideas, and so I had to kind of narrow them down, squish them down. I can't have 15 different service options on my website, right? I needed to kind of narrow it down. So that's kind of how I did that. Is I tested things out a little bit on friends and family, and used my own experience of my own social media platforms to use as examples of like, I think that this video did really well because, and I analyzed it, and that was, a piece of content that I would create. I started a series on TikTok of like how to use TikTok for small business owners. And that kind of kicked off my TikTok growth on my business page. So if you start a series on something that you're really good at talking about, that's kind of how you can build your platform. If you're just thinking of starting TikTok, some advice for you. So I was pretty hesitant, but I got support from friends and family, and eventually I just did it. I posted my website to be live, and I posted it on my social media platforms. And it was nice because I already had like a personal social media platform. So when I started my business social media platform, I could tell everyone on my other one, hey,
Right.
I'm doing this thing. Come follow me over here. So I had a big influx of people come over that wanted to support my business. And I was like watching on Google. You can see how many people go to your website every day. And I was like watching it.
To grow.
Yeah, I was like, oh my
Super
gosh,
cool.
look at all
Yeah.
there's 10 people on my website at one time. This is so cool. So it was a really cool experience, but I just had to do it. I was ready. And when I started talking myself in circles, I was hearing that feedback from friends and family, and they're like, you literally just said that. Like, I think you're ready. So
Right.
yeah, that's kind of when I knew. And so I wish I did it a little bit sooner. Like I could have started, a month or two earlier, I think, confidently that I could have. And I still would have had success and been able to give myself a little bit more time to test things out. And, yeah.
It really sounds like something that was key to that. And I think people can take away is that it's really just essential to build the confidence behind the business and behind what you're doing. However you can do that, whether you're rehearsing it with family or, doing mock interviews or doing, I had another guest earlier on in the season mentioned doing a free to fee where they'd offer something to a business to build their portfolio, give it a try. And if they feel like sort of contributing for that piece of work, they can.
Yeah.
But definitely setting that up. Don't worry about all the flashy stuff.
Yeah.
All the processes can work themselves out later once you've found that market that you want to target.
Yeah.
But just go in with confidence. That's what
the
it sounds like.
processes were holding me up. I was like, I don't know exactly,
Yeah.
Do I need to have like a booking system online? Like, it's a lot of money to have online. I now have one and it saves me a lot of time now. But when I first started, it's like, is this worth my money right now to like buy scheduling software and all the software I need for all this stuff and like booking? So you really kind of need to like ease your way into it rather than like buying it all up front before you've even got one client, right? You kind of have to work your way up. So yeah, no, it was a really amazing learning opportunity. And yeah, I love sharing it with people so that they can try and maybe make a few less mistakes than I made or make it a little bit more efficient or grow some more confidence and know that they should start and that they are good enough at whatever their passion is to start it, like to become a business. I'm a huge proponent of like not making every single hobby into a business because things, should not be, everything we enjoy.
To feel like work.
Exactly.
That's a big part of it.
Exactly. That's part of that work-life balance. Don't like monetize every hobby so that you have things that you enjoy. But this was the perfect match for me to make something that I love into something that I can also make money doing. So yeah.
That's great. And here's the big question that's on everybody's mind. Every business you've had a little over a year of success now. And what is sort of the 5-year target for you? Where would you like to see Mackenzie Kerr Consulting?
I'm still such a baby business, so it's it's hard to think about. I think about it a lot, but I don't have like a solid answer yet because I'm still so young, and my business is so young, both of those. But yeah, I mean, we're sticking in Prince George for a long time. Just bought a house, so I would love to connect with more business owners, help more business owners connect with more customers. I would love to be, known as a social media consultant that can really help you grow your social media platforms to reach the right audience, specifically TikTok, because that's something that I really love doing and I see the power in it and I see how powerful it can be if you do it well without burning yourself out, like finding a schedule that works for you. So I would love to be kind of known for that. And yeah, I would love to have enough clients that I can be comfortable financially to like go on a vacation every year or take trips and, afford to buy a crazy expensive plane ticket to go to Vancouver Island to go to see my family because it's more expensive to fly to Vancouver Island than it is
I never got that. I don't understand.
So, I just, being like financially stable and comfortable is a goal. I think that should be a goal for everyone. And so that's where I would like to be. I don't have like a solid number of like, I want to make this much. I think it's really going to change as my business grows, what I see myself growing into, because it's still very in the infant stage. But I would say enough clients where I am not burnt out and I'm helping as many people as I can. And, I'm paying my subcontractors as much as I can so that, they're getting a fair wage and everyone is, that's kind of like my goals. They're very, they're based in like happiness and wellness, right? They're not so much based on like monetary value numbers or like I want 10 clients every month or whatever it may be. It's just the limit where I can have financial stability and happiness and health and have a good work-life balance and be helping as many people as I can. So we'll see where I get to in 5 years. And if I hire more subcontractors or grow into staff. Staff is a big jump from subcontractors, so I'm not sure exactly yet if I want to like grow into a 15-person agency, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or if I want to I know that this year I'm going to focus on really honing in on my processes and like speeding things up for efficiency and client communication, building relationships with my current clients, and doing a little bit more of my own marketing. Even though my books are full, I want to be better at my own marketing. And I think that that's something that is really important. And yeah, just kind of what's the word? Sorry. Fine tuning. Yeah. I want it to be the year of fine tuning. That's the word I was thinking of. Because I think that I grew very quickly in the last year and now, my books are full and that's amazing, but I would love to be able to just fine tune my systems. I love filming with my clients in person. And so I want to be able to keep that in my schedule and help them, film great videos that show their personality and their brand, that aren't just scripted videos and be a little bit creative about it. So leaving myself some room for creativity, I think is one of my goals, as well as making sure that I don't get bogged down in, trying to grow my business to a certain number that I lose that part of myself and why I love this business and being in content creation and social media right now. So yeah, long-winded, but I think that there's a lot of goals and there's not just one. So it's important to me that it's like a very holistic approach to growing my business so that I don't burn out. And yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on the show today, Mackenzie, and sharing all this great advice with some of our young entrepreneurs. And I just would like to ask if you could close the show out with one last piece of advice.
I think just not waiting, and don't hesitate if you think that you're ready and you kind of have everything ready to go, but you're just waiting because it's an issue of believing in yourself and having confidence. Know that you are not alone and just rip the Band-Aid off, I think is the best advice I could give to people.